Tech billionaire Elon Musk is being criticised for posting an image seemingly to mock the AI Safety Summit just hours before being interviewed by the event's host, Prime Minister Rishi Sunak. It depicts leaders declaring AI a catastrophic threat, referencing the so-called Bletchley Declaration, while secretly planning to develop the very technology. The Tesla tycoon has been attending the summit, which closed today with a sit-down interview between Musk and Sunak. In it, they discuss the emerging technology and how it will change the world.
There will come a point where no job is needed. You can have a job if you want to have a job for sort of personal satisfaction, but the AI will be able to do everything.
Joining me now, tech journalist and author James Ball. Evening to you, James. Good to have you with us. I mean, this was a really intriguing setup. I think we all had this sort of image in our head, and it's just worth making this point at the outset, that Elon Musk was coming to interview Rishi Sunak about what the UK is doing, what leaders are doing, what politicians are doing, etc. And it turns out it was more that Rishi Sunak was interviewing Elon Musk, and quite deferential and almost in awe of him, it seems.
I think that really took all of us for a spin. I think if you hear that the Prime Minister of the UK, still the world's 5th largest economy, 1 in 100 people in the world live here, it's a major regulator of AI, it's a bridge between the EU and the US, you assume the Prime Minister is the person getting interviewed. And if it was supposed to be a conversation, it didn't feel like it. Rishi asked all of the questions. He was clearly trying to impress. He seemed quite eager to please Elon Musk during it. He certainly wasn't an aggressive interviewer. It was softballs all the way. Yeah. And it was a very strange bit of judgment for him to sit up and do that. And I wonder if that will cut through even more than what was actually a relatively interesting conversation, all that it was filled with these sort of easy questions.
I mean, that's the point, isn't it? And, you know, prime ministers aren't supposed to kind of be in awe of people, right? I mean, I know they probably are, but you're meant to have a sort of veneer where you're not impressed by stuff. You know, this Musk character in my own Twitter and a bunch of electric cars, but, you know, I'm not impressed by that. I'm the prime minister. It's meant to be the other way round, isn't it?
Yeah, well, Elon Musk has just said that his cars are robots on wheels. There's a big controversy over Tesla self-driving, the extent to which it may be culpable for crashes, whether it's road safe. Rishi Sunak's actually convened what looks like quite a credible summit with serious people. He's had the US and China send very serious representatives. He should be looking now like he's trying to go, I'm the man that could regulate you. I could be, you know, you should be coming to me to get good rules for what you do. And instead, he looked like sort of someone, a fan meeting their favorite pop star backstage. And I think that was a real misstep. And it's odd, as he's probably had quite a good few days on this, for all the, jokes about Rishi Sunak and artificial intelligence and whose side would he be on right themselves.
It is that. I mean, just look at, can we see that photograph again of Rishi shaking hands there with Elon Musk, the moment that they obviously entered the stage, and there it was, the shaking hands, and we know what I've got a photograph of me meeting Bono where I've got exactly that look on my face. It's like, oh my God, it's Bono, and he's doing that with Musk.
The height difference certainly doesn't help, but
it really doesn't help, does it?
Also,
I don't want to body shame anybody, but it doesn't help.
They put the X logo on number 10, which made them look horribly keen even when they announced it. In a video, not on the actual door, I should stress. But it's a very strange power play, especially when the criticism of Rishi is often that he seems a bit too of the billionaire class, a bit too happy with the super rich, that he's sort of looked a lot more comfortable palling around with a very controversial billionaire who is really doing some troubling things with his custodianship of Twitter.
Well, that's what makes it strange, isn't it? I mean, Rishi Sunak is literally there with the Vice President of the United States, Ursula von der Leyen, various other, pretty significant characters on the world stage. But there he is cozying up to Elon Musk in a rather kind of curious way. And given that, as you rightly suggest there, Elon Musk is not a man without some controversy. He's not a man without some interesting questions around him about who he supports, what what his views are, etc. So it might have been a case for advice for the Prime Minister should have been a case of him perhaps keeping a little cooler on this and not looking so besotted, like a kind of take that fanboy. But that aside, let's look at some of the content here. Supposedly, according to Mr. Musk, we're all going to be out of a job soon anyway, so none of this really matters.
It's of course possible. Anything could obsolete us, but people have been saying technology would mean we didn't need to work for a very long time. George Orwell used to say, sort of in his books, 30 years in the future, we'd all sort of pull a lever in a factory for 3 hours a week and fill the rest of our days. And I don't think many of us work for 3 hours a week. Also, if you don't have people in work, if you don't have money coming into the economy, you don't have consumers, you would have to do bigger rethinks than that. Yeah. And I think there's going to be a lot more jobs not replaced by AI than we worry about right now. The tech is coming on very quickly. It's very impressive. There's still not that many real world jobs it's ready to replace. It will be a little bit slower on that than we think, but it's a good line to say when you're the world's richest man. It will get you some headlines, but it's been said for decades. You know, someone always says in 20 years' time, none of us will have jobs. And so far, they've been wrong. So I'll stick with that.
Yes, that line has been used with the internet and various, even the invention of the printing press, for goodness sake, we were told things like that. But nonetheless, I mean, the word on Silicon Valley, and I think you've just echoed it there, James, is that this really is something slightly different. This is not just the next phase of the internet. This really could see, I heard somebody suggest half the workforce could be unemployed inside the next 15 years. Do you buy that?
I think it's good for some people to sound the drum and be alarmist on it so that we think about these issues. It is a very significant new technology. Do you remember last year when everyone was talking about the metaverse and virtual reality, and then none of it really happened and no one's talking about it anymore? I don't think that's the case with AI. This is really going to, in the short term, things like call center jobs, some customer service jobs, remote jobs like that, they could disappear very quickly. Broader jobs, who knows? But it's a serious tech. We should think about it. We should work out what we're doing. But it's not new that technology displaces jobs. It's just new that these are white-collar jobs. People who've worked in factories that used to employ 400 people now employ 40. This is an ongoing process. It's not a brand new thing. It's
I was going to say some of that is just technology, not necessarily artificial intelligence, as we all know.
Oh, yes, but AI is just technology, really.
Indeed, that's very true. James, thank you.